name is Abujo. I'm the CEO, head photographer at Jonadu Studios. Major things I shoot: food, portraits, and events. These three things are very intentional as to why I shoot them. When I'm not shooting, you'll probably, usually, almost always find me around food. Let me tell you a secret. This week I've been to 5 restaurants. Wasn't planned, but I do not regret the decision. I've been shooting for, give or take, say 4 years, so I've been doing this for a while. I do this full time, and I love it. Okay, photography for me is my own way of trying to change the narrative. What narrative? Narrative that the world has about Africa, about the black race. The world has like one story, thinking that here we are retrogressive, nothing good can come out of here. And I think myself as an artist, as a creator, through my work, it's one step towards changing that narrative. Photography. So before photography, I used to do a lot of arts. I used to draw and paint while I was in high school. So I think my arts teacher also owned a digital camera which I liked to fiddle with at the time. This I forgot until someone reminded me, someone who had gone to high school with me. And I remember picking up a full professional camera in my 100 or 200 level, and I would take pictures of people in departments who were well dressed and put it up on the notice board. So from there, the department noticed, from the department school noticed, and I'm here today. I wouldn't say I have a best piece, because I believe you're only as great as your last work. However, I could tell you what one of my greatest achievements from last year, is it these awards? Anyways, I think one of my greatest milestones from last year was shooting the Maggie billboard, which is in many parts of Nigeria. I mean, it's interesting that one of the brands which I was passionate about when I was younger, because my mom cooked with Maggie a lot, to be able to do like creative work for them. Yeah, I feel proud. It's interesting you asked that question, because I remember sometime last year, for around say a week or two, actually a month, I felt totally uninspired. I wasn't happy. I wasn't looking forward to shooting my camera, or even when I felt happy shooting, I wasn't looking forward to post-production, touching. It felt like a task. It didn't feel like something that came to me naturally anymore. And I think one of the things that helped me get through that was talking to people around me who cared about me, and being reminded of the fact that there are people who are inspired by what I do, not necessarily by what I do, but seeing the drive in which I carry about what I do. Also, remembering how hard I had to push when I first started, when there was relatively no support. After going to a school where my parents had spent so much money, and then deciding that I wanted to take a career in photography. I wasn't sure how everything was going to play out, but I think another thing that helped was maintaining a can-do attitude. I remember when I got my first camera, I thought of different ways of raising money for it, and one night I legit put together like a proposal and went to meet my parents, and I put together all the photos I had taken without a camera, and they were quite impressed, and they were like, okay, think about it. But that night I was lying down on my dad's bed watching some stupid show, and he tapped me and he was like, here's your check for your first camera. So if not anything that my dad believed in me that night, I have to make him proud. I definitely look up to T.Y. Bello. I had a brief working stint we had, emphasis on brief. I look up to Emmanuel Oyeleke. I like the feel of his work. I am careful not to mention too many names because I don't want to miss out any names. On the foreign scene, for food, I definitely look up to Andrew Scrivani. I like his effective use of chiaroscuro. Don't worry, I just want to sound fancy. Basically, his use of lights and shadows. For portraits, definitely Surprise and Leibovitz. Alright, when I'm shooting shoot portraits. I love to shoot close-ups, from midsection up, bust up. I find that more intimate. Same for when you're shooting movies, like when you do a close-up or a tight shot, you can see emotions more. And for food, there's no one size fits all, because different food items have different angles that work for them. So I thank God that many times the right angle to show that best portrays that food item comes to me naturally, since I've done this for a long time. So yeah. My advice to every creative out there, not limiting it to just photographers: do not limit your marketing plan for every year, for every month, to just social media. As much as social media might be a very effective and interesting marketing tool, you shouldn't limit yourself to just that. I find that many young people limit themselves to that. Now, instead of just telling you what not to do, I'd also tell you things you could do. So first step, how about if you marked out the share of the market that you're trying to target? So as a photographer, for instance, am I trying to shoot for Mercedes clients? Am I trying to shoot for Toyota? Am I trying to shoot for, I don't know what's going on Toyota, but figure it out. And when you effectively pick out which one you want to cater for, then how about if you try to go for events where these people would be? So myself, who likes to shoot for, say, Mercedes clients, I go to places like art exhibitions, and trust me, many times you don't even have to do any speaking. Once somebody sees you admiring the picture, you're like, nice picture, right? From there, conversation starts, and the person asks, oh, what do you do? I'm a photographer. Once you ask me that question, trust me, that's all. I just keep on talking. And usually, it's not just limited to how great your work is. People are also affected by the vibe, the experience you can give them, how passionate you talk about what you do. Lastly, it's okay to reach out to potential clients. Many of the clients I shoot for, I had to reach out to them. So say you send an email to 10 people. The truth is, of those 10 brands, probably only 4 will respond to you. Of those 4, you might end up shooting for only 2. But how about if you didn't reach out to any of those 10 in the first place? You wouldn't have gotten that part of the market share. That being said, you can reach me on my Instagram. It's joeladu_. My number is on there as well as my email address. Shoot me a DM, slide into my DM.